Lender vendor or lender partner? That's our question today on the Jay and Brian Show. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Jay and Brian Show. I'm Brian.
I'm Jay.
And we're your hosts as always. And we are talking today about lender vendor versus lender partner. What do you say, Jay?
Well, I think I have a good question for everybody today.
Ooh, let's hear it.
Yeah. Have you ever had a customer service experience go so bad that you felt like you had to explain yourself like 4 or 5 different times?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's happened to all of us, right?
I think anybody would be able to tell you stories about that. Yep. It's all over the place.
And so what we're trying to do is to try to explain a little bit why what we do as a lender partner is so beneficial.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Why it makes a big difference to work with a lender partner versus a vendor.
Yes.
So let's talk about vendors first. Like, what do we mean by vendor?
So the vendor, in my mind, I guess, would be the way I can think of it is like a revolving door, or like the Rolodex of cards. You know that, hey, try this person or try that person, and that person might not be there for you, or they might. Let's say you might start with that person, but you don't ever finish with that person.
Yes.
And so it's frustrating because you start the process or you start the conversation, you're telling your story, and then you get transferred.
Yep.
And then you get transferred again and again.
I'm smiling because this just happened to me yesterday. Yeah, I literally called the bank yesterday, and it was like the 4th or 5th person that finally could help me, I thought, and who seemed to care about what my issue was.
And that's just it.
It's exactly
telling
right.
the story, and are you going to get to somebody that actually cares about what you're trying to explain to them? But
right.
It's truly, I think, it's understanding the story or knowing your story, and then.
Well, it's in the word, right? Partner. We're a partner in our borrower's success. We're taking the time to build a relationship and get to know you, and really understand what your goals are, and come up with great strategies that really help you. Get into that house that you're trying to buy, or complete a refinance that's really beneficial for you.
For sure.
Yeah.
And just, I think over time too, we develop a relationship, and we have a really good understanding of the backstory, but we know the family story, your financial story, and just the whole picture over time. And really, I think it breeds confidence.
Yeah, absolutely.
So these relationships are built, in time. And definitely build a lot of confidence.
And speaking of building confidence, consistency is everything when it comes to confidence. You go to a vendor, and consistency is often a big challenge. You don't get the same person twice when you call into the 800 phone number. Every time you call in and you ask a question, they're not really that familiar with your loan file or what your goals are, and so consistency, I think, is absolutely paramount when it comes to building that trust.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So, just getting into some stories. I know that we have some stories about just about consistency, but getting into the stories about strategizing. And sometimes it takes time to build these relationships, but ultimately, the relationships that we build with our customers, they're not based on, the decisions that we're making are not based on one transaction.
Exactly.
We really try to develop a strategy.
And what I think in terms of strategies is it's looking out into the future, right? So your success in your home with whether you're buying it or refinancing, it doesn't end with the loan when the loan closes. You have to be strategic and look at your whole picture. Am I going to need to buy a new car next year?
You have a story on this, right? Like on a strategy story, a refi strategy?
I do actually. So I had a customer come to me for a cash out refinance. So that's where you pull cash out. You use some of the equity in your home to, sometimes people will do to remodel, sometimes people do to pay off
Seems
debts.
like a big thing right now is the remodeling.
It's been huge this year.
Yeah.
It's been probably a gigantic
Everybody's
sitting
in their houses looking around going, man, that needs to be done and that needs to be done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. In my cul-de-sac, there are 2 mega projects going on at one time.
Oh my
so
gosh.
I am very familiar with how much remodeling is a thing.
Yeah,
right
there is
now.
a lot of
trucks
it
all
going
over the place. But no, but this customer came to me and he was doing a remodel, and he was trying to do some deferred maintenance. Really, is what it was. It wasn't so much building luxury stuff on his house, but he had a number in mind, and that number took us to 80% loan to value. And when I showed him the price difference, the interest rate difference, or the long-term cost difference of taking out a loan to 75% of his value versus 80%, the amount of money he saved over time in a much lower interest rate quadrupled the amount of extra cash he needed to then come out of his pocket with to complete his project.
Wow, yeah.
And so talk about it, just a great strategy session. I'm glad you asked me that. That was a good example.
And again, you never know, when he comes back again, he's going to feel confident in that strategy that you helped him develop or helped him, make that decision on. So, that's good stuff.
So we had a great experience during the transaction, and where I think people really understand. I mean, you get it when you're in a transaction and you feel like your needs are being served. You feel like the person you're working with cares about you and what you're trying to accomplish. But you get a year or two past that transaction, and you realize that you want your child or your sister or whoever to have that same experience, to not have the vendor experience when it's their turn to buy a home or refinance, and they refer you back to us because they know they'll get that experience. That's
amazing when that happens. That's like the best.
Yeah.
But I think there's too, it's that, the confidence from that previous process that, there's a familiarity there, and they remember what it was like and the ease of the process going through us or working with a partner that they feel like that ultimately you feel like you have a real connection with.
Yeah.
But
for me, it comes down to a simple premise, and I heard this quote a long time ago. I don't know who said it, but it's one of my favorite of all time. People will never remember what you said, but they will always remember how you made them feel.
And that's great.
That's if I could encapsulate, if I could just boil it down to the difference between a vendor and a partner relationship, that would be it.
That's perfect. Yeah. I love that.
And then I think it works, like flipping it to our real estate agent partners. So I think that, and then, it's important to have a conversation if we're going to talk about the benefits of a lender partnership as a borrower. I think it absolutely matters what the relationship is between the lender and the real estate agent that you're working with.
Absolutely, and this is like multidimensional. I think the relationship with the agents, as a partner relationship with a real estate agent, it's so difficult to even explain it. Really, what our value is in that. But there's so many. We have a couple things, but one of them I would say maybe one of the most understated is the availability, and so we have.
Especially in this market.
Oh, you have to be available. We really have to make ourselves available to the agents, and a lot of times we're contacting the listing agents after hours. We're contacting them. It might be a Saturday afternoon. It might be a Sunday evening. It might be 7 o'clock on a weeknight, and we're still working and we're still making contact in order to help connect the dots on these deals right now.
Yeah, our phone doesn't turn off at 5 or on the weekends because
that's perfect.
That's when real estate.
That's a perfect way to put it.
And then just to circle back to that point you just made, being able to having a great relationship with our buyer's agent, it's been translating into getting in contact with listing agents proactively.
Yes. So I mean that's
and I know you've got some good stories.
I've had a lot of success with lately, where we get the referral from the buyer's agent, and we're doing the pre-qualification, and we just about right before the offer goes in, we're then contacted by the buyer's agent. Hey, I just want to let you know we're putting an offer together for the customer. The offer is going to go in. I'll let you know as soon as we put the offer in. And then at that point, we're picking up the phone, we're calling the listing agent, and then I'm following that up with an email. And I can't tell you, Brian, how many of these offers we've had accepted just for this reason. That one extra step that
out of 10 or 15 offers. Because nobody else
is doing
there
that.
Is no big box 800 number intergalactic bank loan officer
no lender
is
vendor
making that phone call.
Never. They're
It's
not going to
happening.
do it. It's not happening. So it's not even a consideration. And we hear that, a lot of times from the agents that refer us, that the biggest issue that they have with these, online internet companies or whoever it is, the big box 800 number companies, is that they just won't communicate. and we hear it over and over again. It's just,
well, I mean, ask anybody. You ask a borrower, you ask a real estate agent, you ask anybody, what is the biggest thing that people fall down on during a transaction? And communication is always at always at the top.
Yep, it really is.
Yep.
So yeah, it's really, and it's difficult for us to really explain that. This is probably the best way that we can do that to help you avoid, having to deal with something like that.
Yep.
And this is absolutely why you want to work with a lender partner.
And I think one of the biggest benefits of a real estate partner who is a great partner with us is the cross promotion.
Yes.
So and by that I mean staying in our lanes. It's kind of a phrase that I always kind of have in my mind. Questions are always coming up during when we're going through pre-qualification. Questions are coming up while we're in the loan process, and borrowers don't always know exactly who to ask the question to. So
it's knowing when to defer
exactly
the customer back to the agent on agent-related questions.
Yep.
That Mr. Customer, that's a great question.
Yep.
But I'm going to defer you back to the agent, and they're really going to be the best resource for you.
Having a trusted real estate partner to send them to have them ask that question to is really huge. Great example I can think of is when it comes to seller concessions.
Yes.
So how often when we are working on a purchase pre-qualification, especially at that stage, and sellers or buyers will ask us about seller concessions, whether or not that's a possibility to help them cover some of the closing costs.
It's very tough in this market.
It's definitely tough in this market, but nevertheless, we have these conversations almost all the time, and it's great when we know we've got a good agent partner to send them right back to and say, hey, you know what? That's an outstanding question. I mean, it's super important to our loan.
Yeah.
But it's the agent who is going to guide you through that process. The agent's going to know. Is this a property or a situation where we can ask for it? How much should we ask for it? That's the agent's expertise. And so I think that's
knowing for sure, when to defer them back, and that's a great time.
And it works both ways. And
absolutely.
And that's why it's so beneficial to our customers is when we have that great two-way communication, when we lean on each other for each other's expertise and don't try to wear too many hats.
And they always feel like too, I think whether you're a customer or you're an agent, you always feel like with us, you always have one person that you can count on, and it's availability, but that you're not going to get passed around like, hey, you need to talk to this person. You need to talk to that person. I'm too busy. I can't take your call.
Yep.
That's never going to be the case.
Yep. I'm out of the office today, so you won't be able to get an answer till tomorrow.
Or maybe
type
ever
voice messages,
But that just doesn't happen with us.
Right.
And we really that's kind of the purpose of our business. The way that we do business is that you have this one person that you can count on, kind of before, during, and after the process is done.
Yep.
But we're available for questions, even after it closes.
All the way through.
Yeah.
And beyond.
And beyond. Yes. And beyond.
Well. We're here for you guys if you have any questions always. We say that on every video, but we really mean it. We want to make ourselves available to you if you have any questions about this in particular or about anything to do with home loans or the housing market or anything like that.
Why you want to work with a lender partner.
Why you want to work with a lender partner. We appreciate everybody's support. If you do really like this video, please smash that thumbs up button. Leave us some comments, tell us your stories, and we'll catch you guys again on the next episode. Take care, everybody.
Bye. Welcome back to the show, everybody.
Hello. Hello. Is it on?
I think so.
Testing.
I think it's on.
Jay, that is a swell blue shirt you've got on there.
Thank you.
Really, really terrific. I mean, it is just the most beautiful shade of blue ever. Believe me, everybody's saying so.
It's, as long as we don't smack the microphone out of the wall. We were doing a bit of smacking earlier. We had to reshoot.
On this episode, we're going to be talking about
how not to smack your microphone.
On this episode, we're going to be talking about nothing because I can't remember what we were talking about.
That's bad. That was bad.
From the top.
We'll get this one of these days.
One of these days. One of these days, Jay.
Yep, episode
We might-
6.174.
We might actually get to a point where we seem like we know what we're doing.